Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. It's time for another one of my top 10 favorite cards of a particular set. This series of videos, I'm taking a look at vintage sets, going through the cards and picking my 10 favorite. So again, if you're not familiar, I previously did the 1948 Bowman, and yes, the 1949 Leaf. If you ask Dave Blue Jacket 66, he will tell you that that set did not come out in 1948, but 1949. Even PSA is reluctant to list it as 1949, but all the evidence that Dave has put together, and others as well, show that that set was actually put out in 1949. But anyway, so this is the third video in this series that I'm doing, taking a look at the 1949 Bowman set. Now, the 1949 Bowman set has 240 cards in the set, a lot more than the previous two sets I looked through. And yes, I looked through all 240 cards and picked the 10 that, again, from just an eye appeal, that I just love the look, the design of the card, that made my top 10 list. Again, this has nothing to do with value. It's just my personal opinion on what top 10 cards are my favorite. So we're going to look through the top 10 here. You may there may be some surprises here, and you may question why I rank a certain card in a certain way. But again, this is just my opinion. Would love to know in the comments how you would rank these cards. What would be your top pick? And are there any cards that did not make my top 10 list that you would put in your top 10 list? After going through the 240 cards, I think I had a list of 14, so I had to narrow that down to just 10. There were some really good cards that just missed making the top 10, but let's go start taking a look here. So coming in at number 10, I have the Roy Campanella. Really love the color combination here of the orange background and the blue of his uniform. Really wish, and I'm not sure why, Bowman didn't put the white B for Brooklyn on his hat. I can't imagine that he just wore a blue hat. Other Brooklyn Dodgers players have the white B on their hat, so I'm not sure why they didn't include it in this. If they had, probably would have bumped the Roy Campanella card a little bit up on my list. But again, just a really cool image of Roy Campanella there, so he made my top 10 list. Before we get to the next one on the list here, the two previous episodes, I said I love every single Bob Feller card. You're not going to see Bob Feller in my top 10. He was in the top 14 because I just love the cards produced of Bob Feller. But the image that was used in 49 Bowman just didn't quite do it for me to make the top 10, but he was definitely in my top 14. All right, on to card number 9. We have the Yogi Berra. Now, I love this image of Yogi Berra. In fact, I thought it may have been the same image that Bowman used in his 1948 Yogi Berra card. The pose looks very similar. I thought it was maybe the same image, just colorized a little bit, but they are a little bit different, so it's not the same picture. But with that red background, just him with the swinging pose looking off in the distance, the Yankees hat there, just, I don't know, everything works for me, and the Yogi Berra made my list at number 8. All right, coming in, all right, that was number 9. Number 8 is the Duke Snider. Now this one, just the yellow background. Oh, I love yellow backgrounds of cards. The yellow black background with the blue of the hat, the uniform again. This one, Bowman did put the B for Brooklyn on his hat. Again, don't know why it was missing from Roy Campanella. If you happen to know why the Roy Campanella did not have the B on Brooklyn on his hat, please let me know. Would love to know. But yeah, the Duke Snider. Now, if you're not familiar with 49 Bowman, there are different variations. Some players have both a name and no name. Some have the name, and that's the only version. Some don't have the name on the front, and that's the only version as well. And I think there are a couple color combination of backgrounds. Again, one of the key people to know if you want to know more about 1949 Bowman, Dave Blue Jacket 66. I think if he doesn't have a master set, he's really close to a master set of 49 Bowman. So definitely reach out to him if you have some specific questions on the different variations that come along with 1949 Bowman. All right, like I said, Duke Snider came in number 8, just an overall great eye appeal card with that yellow background offsetting with the blue in the uniform. All right, on to number 7. Warren Spahn. I had to include Warren Spahn in here. Love the image, again, that high lead kick motion, just the red background. The only thing that sort of takes away, and you'll see this in a couple other cards that made the list, and the reason why the Warren Spahn maybe is a little bit lower is with some of the 49 Bowmans, it looks like the color on their uniform is almost like drawn on. I don't know quite how to explain it, but the reds on his uniform just seem a little, I don't want to say incorrect because that's not true, but I don't know, there's just something about the uniform, again, compared to other cards in the set. I mean, I love the Warren Spahn, and I love the Warren Spahn that I own, but so it did make my top 10 list, but it came in at number 7. Everything else about the card I absolutely love. Again, red background, the image that they used with him in the middle of pitching with the high leg kick. Just love that Warren Spahn. All right, number 6, the Stan Musial. Now, this may be one where you say, how can you have the Stan Musial all the way down at number 6? It is a great card of Stan Musial, that dark blue background, the great stance, showing Stan Musial's batting stance there, where he sort of has a, it's like he's coiled up, and that was his swing. And again, just like the Warren Spahn, though, the coloring on his uniform, I don't know. They're just something. It looks like it's either badly colorized or just drawn on there. I don't know, but it sort of takes away a little bit from the card, and I almost wish the red in his helmet was maybe a little, or his hat was a little bit brighter. It sort of blends into the dark blue background, doesn't show up as nice. But I mean, overall, it is a great image of Stan Musial. I'd love to have this Stan Musial card in my collection. But in terms of some of the other cards in the set, for me, this ranks number 6. All right, on to the top 5. Coming in at number 5, I have the Jackie Robinson. Again, you may be saying, John, what are you thinking? How can you have the Jackie Robinson only at number 5? Again, it's a Jackie Robinson card, iconic card, one of his, I think, more popular cards. But again, I'm ranking these throughout the set, not looking at value or historical significance, whatever. I'm just looking at the visual eye appeal of the card. Great red background, again, offset with the blue in the Dodgers uniform. Not sure about the image of Jackie himself. Looks a little bit darker than maybe other photographs may have, and I'll show one example here of another one. But again, great card of Jackie Robinson. But just for me, there are a couple others that I just found that just had a little bit better eye appeal for me. All right, number 4, Early Wynn. Now here's one again where I love the fact that it looks more like an actual photograph of Early Wynn. Again, not sure why it's missing the logo on the hat. But I also love the war patch on his sleeve. That sort of like an olive color background, I just think is very attractive, appealing to me. And this is one where the color and bead of his uniform doesn't seem to be as fake. I guess it looks more like the uniform, like the picture of him in his uniform. I don't know. It just looks more that the picture looks more authentic and real for early Wynn. And again, the color, love the color combination. So that's why the early Wynn ranked number 4 on my list. All right, number 3, the Phil Rizzuto. I absolutely love this card. That brownish orangish background. I love how his hat is sort of like maybe off to the side a little bit. He's not looking directly at you. Again, just off to the side. That smile, that little quirky, smile that he has, and just the overall image. Again, this looks, compared to the other photographs that Bowman used for some of the other players, either they're blurry or they're just not crisp. But this photograph of Phil Rizzuto, I think, is just gorgeous. Now, this one has a no-name version. I sort of like the one with the name. I was debating which one I wanted to choose. Obviously, without the name, you get the full portrait image of him. But I don't know. There's just something about him, the one with his name on it. Now, there's also I think they call it a gray back. That one was nice as well. I was tempted to go with that one. Couldn't find a really good image, but the more I kept looking, I liked this one a little bit better. So the Phil Rizzuto came in at number 3. All right, 2 more to go. And if you know your 49 Bowmans, you probably figure which one is at least in the top 2. But my number 2 is a Richie Ashburn. I love, again, the same color background as the Phil Rizzuto, but I love, again, the image of Richie Ashburn looks more like a true crisp photograph. And that uniform, check out the folds that you can clearly see in his uniform, and the colors, the blue and the red of his Phillies cap in with the background, and that dark gray long sleeve underneath his uniform. Everything about this Richie Ashburn card I just absolutely love. Again, that uniform, it's so crisp and clean. If you look at some of the 49 Bowman cards, they seem dull and bland. Some of them even like a little bit out of focus. But boy, that uniform of his, I just can't stop looking at that uniform and just how crisp that looks with all the different folds. I just love it. Love the Richie Ashburn. So he comes in at number 2. And yes, I have to pick as number 1 the Satchel Paige. I absolutely love that. It's a teal background with the dark blue and the red in his hat. You get a little bit of red down at the bottom of his uniform. Again, the coloring, the beading of his uniform there looks authentic to the picture. It doesn't seem to be that thick, drawn-on lines that they used for other cards, like the Warren Spahn and the Stan Musial. Just everything about this card. Now, this is the one where I was comparing it to maybe the Jackie Robinson. This one looks like a little bit of a cleaner picture or image of Satchel Paige compared to Jackie Robinson. So that's where I was talking about the comparisons of the two. If they had a better image of Jackie Robinson, that would probably been higher on my list. But again, it just seemed like it's too, the shades are too dark on it. I like the lighter shade there of Satchel Paige, if those are the right terms. But this is just an absolutely gorgeous card, and I think most everyone would agree that the Satchel Paige is one of the most beautiful cards made, and definitely the best looking of the 49 Bowman. But again, that is just my opinion. So again, there's my look at my top 10 favorite 1949 Bowman cards. Again, would love your thoughts in the comments of this video. Maybe you want to give me your top 10 list, or tell me like which cards you would rank higher in your list than mine, or if there are some ones that are out there that you said, hey, this should have made the list. Just so you know, I said the Bob Feller didn't make the list. Pee Wee Reese was another contender. Again, another action shot of him fielding. The Enos Slaughter card, I liked the overall image there, just wasn't enough to break the top 10. And the last one was the Bob Lemon rookie card. That one was a close one. That one probably came in at number 11 on my list. So if you like these series of videos, would appreciate a thumbs up on the video. That's all I have for you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.